As we all know by now, The Last of Us Part 2 is toxic, the community is toxic, the game is really fucking toxic, and the guy who made the damn thing, Neil Druckmann, is the definition of... As we know, there is no good way to talk about anything related to this game. Hopefully Season 2 of the show can be less divisive, but sometimes you hear something so asinine, so void of any basic common sense, you have to bring it up, despite how, what do they call it? Triggering. It may make some people. Last of Us Season 2 has made the commendable decision to find an actual normal human female to play the role of Abby. By normal, I mean not what the game did. And upon realizing the game would not give us that muscular monstrosity, most of us reacted the way you'd think.
It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining.
But then again, some people... I don't want to name names, it's not what I do here. But yes, some weird people have an issue with this. In order to explain how stupid this controversy is, we have to look back and see how the character came to be. It all starts with Neil Druckmann, the guy who cries over his own games and blames any failure on the fans, who is a regular advocate for adversity in video games. Now just to clarify, I'm okay with that. Last of Us 2 had a mostly female cast. If done correctly, that's fine. But if you actually believe Neil Druckmann is being remotely genuine, then you probably also believe The Acolyte wasn't a failure. We can only talk so much about bigot sandwiches, but if you can label every character as diverse aside from 2 white men, it's obvious you're trying to check the boxes. In the case of Abby, they made her look like this. I'm just gonna say it, it's ugly. We all know it is, Druckmann knows damn well it is, and on top of having to spend half the game looking at this, there's even a graphic sex scene that nobody felt the need to censor. Unlike Stellar Blade, you're looking at the offensive bit. Similar to the Silent Hill 2 remake, I've seen popular streamers playing this who don't look disgusted. I guess they feel they have to like it. And while I won't guarantee Druckmann is to blame, it does seem like he was the first to do it. That is, deliberately creating an ugly character for the sole reason of male gamers not being turned on. Now some do make the argument that this was refreshing. I repeat, refreshing.
I feel sick.
And given The Last of Us is obviously narrative-driven, having an attractive female would surely take you out of it. I more so just want a normal female, but even if The Last of Us Part 2 did have a good story, it's still a fucking video game. You execute clickers on the regular, stealth your way through hordes of enemies, get extremely lucky, a lot. In the series, clicker encounters are a lot less common, likely for this reason. They're also a lot more deadly. Realism does not excuse being unpleasant to look at, and honestly, I don't believe anybody thinks it does. Then we have the logic behind it, the reason people give, saying it makes her character better. How? You'd probably think it at least affects something. Realistically, it should. But in all honesty, the most distinguished trait she has in the game is being afraid of heights. I hope that makes the show. It made the rooftop section real memorable. But I am dead fucking serious when I say that had a bigger effect than her physique. And that's not saying much, as the game hardly ever even brought up how she looked. Not that you could miss it, but for a game with lesbian and trans characters crammed down your throat, they surprisingly ignore this. I don't know how they do. You play as a damn tank, you think it would affect something. Yeah, when Abby and Ellie go head-to-head, she does have an advantage, but at no point in the game does her being overly buff play a big role. I guess she chokes enemies opposed to stabbing them, when Ellie always has a knife, but that method only works on people, so her muscles have made her harder to play as. In other words, you quit playing as the scrawny bitch, take on the fucking monstrosity, and the game becomes harder.
That's a retarded idea.
Now keep in mind, I have not played the game since release. I will never play the game again. So maybe I've forgotten some mechanic, but if memory serves correctly, I don't think there's any benefit to playing as Abby. It's just for appearances. Now you may think I'm a hypocrite, as I usually complain about being reminded of the wokeness they put in the game, but in this case, despite looking stupid, it could have at least affected something. Because realistically, if a female was gonna bother to get that strong, you would think it'd be for a reason. Perhaps I missed the subplot about the female bodybuilding contest? And no, the same cannot be said for Ellie, because I know some people don't get this, but being gay does not make you a better character. It doesn't make the way the game ended any sadder, if you gave a shit, which I don't, but being a fucking beast sure as shit should have some kind of effect. I bring this up because people like to pretend it defined our character in the game, which is a lie, but that doesn't mean it couldn't in the show. Obviously they can update. If the season is going to be any good, they have to update a lot of shit, but the fact remains, nobody really wants that. Yeah, there are some nutjobs who do, but if you really want to make a strong woman character who looks like that, this may not be the place to do it. I believe Disney did, and they fucked the whole thing, but I believe there's a thing to be said about they did it one time, nobody liked it, so let's not do it again with this. Again, it was a video game, it didn't have to make perfect sense, nor did it. The strength could have affected the gameplay, but in a TV show that's more logical, has less clicker action, whatever a big-ass woman could have affected, it's probably not worth it. That being said, any video I make knocking this game leads to many upset fans, but this issue should be common sense. Somehow to many it isn't a double-edged sword, they call it, and that's beyond stupid. But that's just what I think. Some may be turned on by this, and I guess that's okay. Let me know what you think in the comments, liking the video would be appreciated, and the subscribe button is down there too. You can find more Last of Us content on the gaming channel, and plenty of other gaming videos. There's a link in the description. I'm the analyst, and remember kids, this had to be censored. Yeah, we're fucked.
Many fans of the game had lobbied for years for the actress to get the starring role of Ellie, which went to Bella Ramsey, given her striking resemblance to the Ellie character in the game.